it's going to work really effectively. And the first one I'm going to talk about is what we call the AMRAP. Now, for those of you who don't know what AMRAP means, this means as many reps as possible. And as the name suggests, you do as many reps as possible. But it's not as simple as that. How I do it, anyway, I'm going to show you how I do it, and then I'm going to go through why it's really effective. So with the AMRAP, I like to tend to do it on the last set. So for example, we're doing a T-bar row. The program calls for 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps. On the third set, perform an AMRAP. This would mean that the first 2 sets I would perform as normal, 8 to 10 reps given the RPE scheme or the reps in reserve. For most times, I will put this as 2 reps in reserve. Then on the third set, I would still keep the same weight. I would do 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, 2 reps in reserve with the same weight that I did for sets 1 and 2. At the end of the 8th to 10th rep, I'll take a breather for 10 to 15 seconds, and then once again try and perform as many as possible. Now, for some people out there, you may have heard this in different contexts as well. One of them is what we call a myo rep, where people try and perform a close to failure set. They take a breather for 10 to 15 seconds and once again try and perform as many reps as possible close to failure. This once again is about trying to get the grinder reps in so that you force the muscular growth, so to speak, but even saying that overload the nervous system. And I highly recommend if you're going to do that with something like a squat or bench press, that you have a spotter, you know what you're doing, have high amounts of experience, or altogether just change the exercise to be something safer, because you don't want to be failing on a back squat and hurting yourself, because that would once again defy the reasons why we're doing these things. Another context you may have heard in AMRAP though is saying, hey look, here's 10 minutes, here are 3 exercises, and perform as many as you can, as many rounds as possible, as opposed to as many reps as possible. Same thing, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, but you would perform 3 exercises that are contrarily different, so to speak. So it's kind of like a circuit. You may have one doing a goblet squat, one station doing a push-ups, and another one doing a Romanian deadlift, so to speak. All targeting different muscle groups to give you the same effect, but making sure one doesn't quite hinder the other one. And you would set some sort of rep scheme to all of them. Maybe it's 10 reps, 8 reps, 6 reps, or just all 3 sets or all 3 exercises as 10 reps, and you just keep chipping at it. So that's one thing that you can do with an AMRAP. Now, this was typically going to be programmed for people who use my programs anyway, but for yourself, if you're finding yourself short in time, perform those AMRAPs so that you can actually get something done instead. Maybe if you only have 10 minutes, this is a great way to get things done. And this is why I always say to people, if you really, really wanted it, if you really had the time and really committed to it, no matter how much time that you have, an AMRAP is always an effective tool and you will get a workout in if you want it.